What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another review for Monday Night Raw. This one is the January 31st, 1994 edition. So let's get right into it. Raw starts off with them telling us that we will see a coin flip to see who is going to face Yokozuna at WrestleMania for the WWF title. IRS is now the one joining Vince McMahon on commentary, so we'll get back to see if Bret or Lex gets the title shot. The first match of the night is Marty Jannetty taking 1-2-3 Kid's place because we see that he is walking out with crutches. He was supposed to face Johnny Polo, but instead we're going to see the rematch from a couple weeks ago. And Polo cuts a promo before the match, and Marty goes for the mic too, but instead he clotheslines Johnny with it and ties him up with the cord that was attached to it. Marty gets poked in the eye but pulls the cord and trips up Johnny, so he decides he's not going to be made a fool of and tries to walk out of the match. But Marty goes to stop him and brings him back in the ring. Later in the match, both guys collide with each other, which stops Marty from making a comeback. Marty then gets to the ropes and knocks Polo on his balls. After a reversal, Marty hits a random move and pins Johnny for the win. Then IRS at ringside takes a cheap shot at the Kid and Marty tries to help him out. Meanwhile, the Kid, aka Sean Waltman, stole the briefcase from IRS and escapes to the back. When we come back to commercial though, IRS doesn't know who took it and makes his way to the back to find it. And on his way there, Razor Ramon's music hits, and he comes out with Marty Jannetty, who gives the briefcase back. And Vince points out something about Razor having gold back around his neck. And like I said in last week's review, this is because IRS stole it, and that's why they had that match at the Royal Rumble. But Razor got his gold chain back, and IRS calls Marty a thief for taking what was in the briefcase. So we're going to see where that goes, if anywhere, in the next couple of weeks. Then we see Jack Tunney explaining how the coin toss will work. Basically, what will happen is that whoever wins the coin toss will face Yokozuna first, and the other guy will take on another superstar. Lex would face Crush if he loses the toss, and Bret would face his brother Owen. Then they will face the champion in their second match of the night. If it doesn't make any sense how I explained it, get your head checked out because it's a simple concept if you ask me. The next match is a squash match for Bam Bam Bigelow where he gets the win with a headbutt. He's way ahead of his time in terms of what he can do in the ring, but he wins with such basic and boring moves. He hits a headbutt, and I've never been a fan of the headbutt dive. It just never looks like it connects. Chris Benoit, Daniel Bryan, even Bam Bam Bigelow, like it just never looks like it hurts the person that they're delivering it to. Moving on, we have the coin toss, and Jack Tunney is in the ring. It's so funny to see Vince McMahon reviewing the rules with Tunney as if Jack was the actual president and Vince wasn't the owner of the company. And he wasn't the person who made up these rules. So Lex Luger calls, because the whole time he's like, all right, let me get this straight, Jack Tunney. So the person that wins the coin toss is going to face Yokozuna first. Am I correct? Like he goes to Jack Tunney to get confirmation about the rules, even though he's the one who made the rules. I don't know if that makes any sense, but nothing that I ever say makes sense when I'm explaining anything. So Lex Luger calls it in the air and gets the toss in his favor. It looks like a real coin, so I wonder what would have happened if it landed tails. Or maybe I'm a mark and it was planned out and I didn't notice. So this means now that Bret will face Owen first, and then he gets his title shot depending on who wins the first match between Yokozuna and Lex Luger. Bret Hart is reluctant to have to face his brother but says it has to be done and wishes Luger luck because he would never back a guy like Yokozuna. The next match of the night was Kwang with Harvey Whippleman taking on a jobber, and Kwang gets the win. If you don't know who Kwang is, don't worry, I don't either, and I've been keeping up with the product. So yeah, we have to deal with this wag gimmick for the coming weeks and months. And I believe if you want to get a peek behind the curtain, if you don't skip ahead like 10 seconds, the man behind Kwang is actually Savio Vega. So yeah, we have a couple of years before we see this guy come back as who he's going to be. But yeah, that's who Kwang is. We then see Paul Bearer at a cemetery where he's telling us that one day Undertaker will return because he will not rest in peace. So don't hold your breath because this might take a while for the dead man to come back. So if you were watching at the time, I hope you didn't hold your breath because Undertaker was going to take a long while before he actually made his return. Then out of nowhere we see Earthquake make a rare appearance for a jobber match win. When's the last time he's been on TV? Not just on Raw, but on any WWF show in general. Before the show ends, Marty confronts IRS from the back and challenges for a match next week. It's accepted, so this feud comes to a quick end. It looks like only took 1 week, so that's how the show ends. Let's get to the awards. For the best moment, I had the coin toss segment. They over-explained the rules, but it's something different that they hadn't done before, and it hasn't been done since for the WWF title match at WrestleMania. especially since we were also informed that Owen and Brett will face each other, a match that will be 4 months in the making. All of these matches, or most of the matches, are going to have long term storytelling, like months and months. Interesting to see that play out, and we're finally going to get it, Owen and Brett at WrestleMania. But just the coin toss in general was a decent segment, the best moment on the show. For the worst moment, I had a jobber match main eventing in the show again. For the worst match, I had Quang versus the Jobber. A lot to choose from, but this one will take the prestigious award for this episode. For the best match, I had Marty versus Polo. It was the only one that I could really pick from, but I'm not going to because it was really a slow paced match and it was just Johnny Polo goofing around most of the match with a quick finish. Didn't really enjoy this one as much as I did their first match. For the wackest performer, I'm just going to say this: what the fuck is a Quang? Then for the standout performer, I'm going to give it to IRS. He has some good lines on commentary, and I like the segments he had with Marty the Kid and Razor Ramon, so IRS picks up standout of the night. Not really much to complain or praise about the show. The coin toss happened so quick that they'll just recap it next week, so there's no need to watch any of this. Plus, the IRS and Marty feud will probably also be recapped next week, right before their match. So this episode is going to get a bad grade for those reasons. And speaking of reasons, this episode had no reason for you to watch it, so don't do it. So, with all that being said, I'm out.